Insider has done an amazing job over the past couple of years of profiling the financial improprieties of members of Congress, where they refuse to abide by even the very limited disclosure requirements for their investments. Maybe hiding nothing, maybe hiding shady activity or even illegal activity. Well, they've identified many of them. We've had Dave Leventhal and other members of Insider's team on to talk about a lot of different people. There are 63 members of Congress who have violated the Stock Act in particular. Well, we want to focus today on Representative Madison Cawthorn, who has apparently violated a conflict of interest law by failing to disclose purchases and sales of 6 different types of cryptocurrency, according to a new financial disclosure. We're gonna give you the details. And then there's an extra twist on this that nobody seems to be focusing on, but that I think is super suspicious. So we're gonna turn to that in a minute. He apparently disclosed crypto trades between $290,000 and $950,000. Okay, these took place between January and March. Now, according to the STOP Act, members of Congress have to report financial transactions of more than $1,000 inside of 45 days. But Cawthorn waited almost 6 months after he bought and sold currency like the Let's Go Brandon coin. And you can see the value of his crypto trades here. They're all in ranges, as all of this is. It's one of the things they've set up to hide what they're actually doing. But so you can see he had up to potentially $50,000 of Let's Go Brandon coin. Ethereum, he had close up to 215,000, Solana up to 195,000, Bitcoin up to 180,000. Now, if they're gonna look into this, and if they found that he violated it, hiding all of this for months and months and months, he could be in real trouble. He could receive a fine of $200, assuming that the House Committee on Ethics doesn't waive it, which they usually do. So, look, Brandon, Jordan, I'm talking about the Brandon coin. Sorry, I just mentioned the Brandon coin. Let's go, Jordan. So Jordan, I don't know if he did anything shady or not. I don't know because there's so little disclosure even required. He didn't even abide by that, and he's gonna be totally fine. It's so messed up.
Yeah, and this really highlights the ineffectiveness and toothlessness of the Stock Act. If you can do whatever you want and you just pay a $200 penalty, that's just an invitation to do whatever you want. Like just if you're trading in that kind of quantity, you can afford a $200 like processing fee, basically. Like
that's what it is. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's a little tax.
It's a transaction. It's a convenience.
It's a farce.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Look, in this case, the fact that he's apparently not going to be a representative for much longer, that makes me a little bit less troubled by it. You know, the fact that they can purchase individual stocks in the first place, I think is far more core of an issue. But if all we're gonna have is the Stock Act, there should be penalties when you don't abide by it, significant ones. Like any time that one of these financial penalties is like 0.1% of what you make from it, again, that's all it is a transaction fee. And it's not just our representatives. Like people like Elon Musk, he's breaking laws left and right, but it doesn't matter. It's factored into the price of doing business. But I want to turn now, before we move on to another topic, to what I think of as a more core concern. So my concern isn't necessarily that Madison Cawthorn hid for months all of these Bitcoin transactions. My concern, and I would love to have like a Ken Klippenstein look into this, is how the hell did the youngest member of Congress ever potentially trade nearly $1 million in cryptocurrency? Does anyone have an answer to that? I looked into it as much as I could. His resume going into his congressional run, he'd worked at Chick-fil-A. He was a part-time worker at a congressional office. He did a single semester of college, and they had a reference to fledgling work as a real estate investor. So I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the real estate thing. No, well, he was the owner and CEO of SPQR Holdings. That's a real estate investment firm. It was started in August 2019. It reported no income. He's its only employee. And apparently, as of August 2020, it had been involved in only one real estate transaction, a $20,000 transaction, a foreclosure auction. How did he get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of cryptocurrency? Maybe it's as simple as his family is wealthy and it was handed to him. Plenty of people are just handed vast quantities of wealth, but he's like 27 or something. How could honestly, maybe there's something that I'm missing here, but nobody is acting as if it's not weird that a guy who just launched into a congressional run with no prior political experience is suddenly sitting on maybe $1 million in cryptocurrency. What do you think?
A couple different things. I think the initial investment money probably came from all of the money he's made in speaking fees. That's how a lot of these people make money.
Maybe.
So he's done a ton of Turning Point events. So they probably, and that's just just basically a way for big corporate interests and special interests to navigate around campaign finance laws. It's like, oh, we're gonna donate to them, who's then gonna pay you to speak at the event. And there's just no real way to.
How is that legal?
To stop that.
Turning Point isn't grassroots. Just billionaires give them money and then they give it to Republican politicians.
Yeah, because they do it in an individual capacity.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go as an actual, like they can say their title, but they do it. It is such a joke, but I see it all the time in my own work. We're talking to a member of Congress and they're just like, oh, I'm on the unofficial side. And they just say it, and then that's it. You tag their personal account. You deal with one person who's in their personal capacity side, who also just so happens to work in the office. They just use a different phone, a different email. It's such a joke, and that's how they do it. So a lot of the money probably came from that, but also he boosted the price of like the Let's Go Brandon coin and a few other, like especially that one. He boosted it and then sold it. So he probably quadrupled whatever his return.
Yeah, I would love to have known how he got in the original. Maybe it was speaking fees. By the way, if you're a conservative and watching this, you might have been excited at one point about the Let's Go Brandon coin. He certainly was, because he had a scheme in mind. They were going to pump up the price of it and then sell it off to like rube conservatives, and then the value absolutely plummeted. He made a bunch of money. Well, where did that money come from? Well, that money came from you, actually. It came from you conservatives who trusted people like Madison Cawthorn. When are you gonna stop doing that? This is just a money transfer scheme where you give your money to people like Donald Trump and Madison Cawthorn and you end up with nothing. I didn't lose any money on that. I didn't buy any Let's Go Brandon coin. That's all on you guys, you conservatives. Anyway, you might be right. Maybe it's just a speaking fees. That should 100% be illegal. How could that's the most see-through corruption imaginable. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.